Hey guys, new video here. Talk about the Herald Scion. Hit level 100, had a epic race with MP and company, and I lost the race. Came up short. He hit level 100. I hit level 100. Well, I was 4% behind him. Feels bad, man. Lost the race. But now that I'm done, I've made some tweaks to the build. I'm okay talking about it. One thing to know about heraldry is, I always call it heraldry when it's purposeful harbinger. The Purposeful harbinger build is whatever you want it to be, because all the skill trees look pretty much the same. This is like the skeleton of it. For a Scion, for a Templar, you would drop all of this and you put it whatever you want. So you can do whatever you want. I cannot stress this enough. Now you might think, if someone can afford this build, why do they need a video? Because this video is not going to go over the minutia like some of my other videos, right? Because I'm not going to be like, okay, then this node you put in the natural, this node you can put in Watcher's Eye, this node is voices. If you can afford a build like this, even a more budget version of a Jardian version or a you're getting started, you will be able to work out for yourself how the skill trees work, how all the points work, how auras work. So you're going to be swapping out in and out auras, different times, trying out different watchers. I try out different things. There's so much to try out, but the skeleton of the build is the same. I'll talk about some of the choices I've made after level 100 and maybe why I did them, so you can see like how my mindset changed even between level 99 to 100, because level 99 to 100 was a huge change in terms of the build, in terms of the auras and other things. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at my build and just very quickly overview without getting into too many details. Is the build is around Purposeful harbinger. Okay, you have to have this on every node, you'll know that. And then your other choices for the other nodes, okay, as long as you have Purposeful harbinger on jewels like this, I'll just mouse over them, you can pause it if you want, is your choices are going to be between heraldry, endbringer, and then replenishing presence, maybe. Okay, heraldry is to make your heralds cost a lot less, like mine are free. You might be okay with a couple percent. And the endbringer is a big one. I really wanted to focus on endbringer. I don't have a single replenishing on my thing, because you don't need one to stand in the storms. Okay, I was gonna do this video where like after I finish the video I like end my my menu and you see me stand in the storm, but every single stream I do that like 50 times for the carries. So you know, you can perma-tank the Cyrus storms. You can be getting hit by the meteors, you can get hit by the flame geysers, you know, Fury of the Cosmos, Rain of Stars, triple beam. You're not going to die. You can tank the meteor in Awakener 8. Everything is tankable. Cortex is extremely easy. You can tank all of that. Be careful about penetration Cortex, because the little mobs, you get a little bit like, you know, you go to the bathroom in the middle of the ad phase, you know, those penetration mobs can kill you. Uber Elder, Uber Elder, the Shaper with the balls have 20% penetration. You can kill you with those balls, no matter how good your gear is, so be careful there. But everything else, you're gonna be fine. I was farming 100% Delirious barrel chambers with it, no problem, just really clearing because you use a headhunter on it, and even without any extension, I don't use a Solstice Virgil, no temp chains or anything, weird stuff like that, you know, all of it's really, really easy. So I would say this, my choice is getting Purposeful harbinger because it's required, getting 1% reduced mana on pretty much every jewel that you can, and then I want to go as many endbringers as I can. No replenishing presence, and as many endbringers as I can, because the endbringer is 125% damage each one, and then the 1% mana reduced on every jewel is going to make it so that, you know, I could really squeeze out the deeps by putting in whatever things I want. And these are the things that I'm using, like maybe some swaps, like if I'm staying still, which a lot of time I am, like casting, and if I'm casting, that means there's dangerous monsters nearby, so I decided to put back on Arctic armor, even though for like 98 levels I didn't use that. Part of 99 I didn't use that. So pretty standard stuff. Dread Banner. Why am I using Dread Banner? Well, Dread Banner doesn't do anything because my damage right here, if you look, it's a very small portion of Fizz. So although I can impale, I can do all this stuff, if you look at this little line here, nearby enemies have 21% less accuracy range. It's just another defensive. And then you're gonna have, like, I had to fit in all the heralds. Obviously Avian is really good because I'm using Sacca walls. You know, I got the pretty standard stuff. I was trying out some stuff with Pride and Zealotry, and because there's a really cheap Watcher's Eye. Where is it? Where is that bad boy? Right here. So this one I just priced it because I might use this later, so that's why I didn't want to sell it too cheap. But this is like 7 exalts maybe. I was able to buy on stream, I was able to buy like 3 of these. The first one got sniped by someone that didn't even need it. They're just trying to stop me from getting an item. Bought 3 of these, not 3 modded, but like the 2 mod and 3 mod shitty ones are going to be I bought 2 of them for 2.5, 1 of them for 4 exalts. And I was trying to buy the next one for 7 exalts because it was also triple mod, but not that great. So incredibly cheap if you want to use pride, which you can definitely fit in. Double damage is basically, think of it as 12% more damage. Extremely spiky. If it procs a lot in a row, you're going to annihilate any boss. The 10% pen on crit, which is always going to be up pretty much, is going to be because you have a diamond flask, right? So you basically have let me estimate this in my head. You're going to have probably like 80% crit, I think, as long as you have a bottle of faith. And so it's always probably gonna get that 10% pen on every type of damage, which is a little bit better than let's say like 15% pen on one type of damage, right? Because I am split. I'm not using Call of Brotherhood rings. I chose not to do that because I wanted more aura possibilities. Okay, and the whale haste is really insane on Scion because of the attack speed. Now, with these Watcher's Eyes being that cheap, right, I felt that was a better option than something like this early on before level 100. But then after level 100, I took a look and I decided to switch back to this just for more consistency, because I did end up carrying more Cyruses and doing more bosses where I was using the Bottle of Faith more, so I was getting more out of the crit multi. So I went back to something like this. And other things that I changed is so once again, I'm going to type in something here. Mana reserved. Okay, so as you can see, every jewel has mana reserved. Okay, I want to mouse over them just really quickly because I don't want to get too much into them besides one little thing here. On your rare jewels, I really like ES because I just want a bigger pool. A bigger pool can out regen in place of a recovery Watcher's Eye. Now think about it like this discipline and vitality Watcher's Eye, if you want to go the full recovery route, is 1.3 times 1.3, right? So 1.69. A male violence, if you are going to use a male violence here, and I highly recommend you use this in any kind of scenario where you're going to have whale haste, because the male violence is going to multiply the whale haste by many times. So you see, it's a 10-second buff instead of a 4-second buff. Insane. Another thing to talk about with this is the male violence recovery is 20% more of life and the ES. So because you have that from the vitality and into the Zealot's Oath, some of the tooltips don't work, and some people even tell you that vitality doesn't work. It 100% works. Okay, like there's no doubt in my mind that it does work, because you can see it in the regens, in the regen phases when you're in the storms, and without the Watcher's Eye, you're gonna get wrecked. So what I'll say about the vitality working with this, once again it does, is that male violence is 1.2 times 1. It's 1.8. Sorry, yeah, it's a 1.8 times multiplier, right? So if you had to choose between discipline and discipline and vitality Watcher's Eye versus the male violence Watcher's Eye, the male violence one is better. Okay, and that's one I would go with. I'm not using any regen on here. I can take the storms. It's kind of weird because if you look right here, one thing I've done is my regen is only well, with that on, hold on, let me put this on. Okay, look at this. My regen is 1,400. When it spikes up, that's because of the ascendancy, the Jardian 20% recovery over 1 second every 5 seconds, but you can't really rely on that. Well, you can rely on it to cover you in the storms because you don't need full recovery. But look, 1.4k, right? I mean, I have like 90% reduction. I got like all the resist and everything. I'm CI. But why is that like good enough, right? And the reason is because lots of things on your gear or on the tree, it won't actually show up in that tooltip. And what's not showing up there? Well, when I stand still, it's going to go up a little bit if I take this right here. See this? Tukohama is very good for Cyrus storm tanking. I guess I would like take this for my bossing setup. My pantheons for mapping, it would be this and this, right? Move speed. But then for bossing, I take regen and I take this, okay? But this big node doesn't really matter because you're CI. And then one thing about this actually to note is that if you touch any of the damage over times, you get out of it, get out of the storm, go back in the storm, you can actually benefit from the recovery rate of life and energy shield if you stop taking damage over time recently. Very powerful, right? So that's like 4 seconds. And from there, like this one, the regen from this 2 column up to 2% when you're standing in the storm, it's hilarious because now look, I went from 1.4 to 1.6, and then I have a belt here. Now the belt here, the important node that I'll say is mandatory for me is energy shield recharge. It's catalyzed, so it's a little bit higher, but like you can get up to 20% for tier 1 increased energy shield recovery rate. Recovery rate is just any source of it, right? It's like It's like your regen, it's your recharge. I'm pretty sure it's your energy shield leech and stuff like that, but for our purposes it is regen. So very important in my mind if you're going to be killing bosses, or especially Cyrus, because this is a hilarious Cyrus killer. You kill him in seconds, and get that recharge so you can stand the storm and impress your friends. That's really the only reason I built this guy in the first place on the Jardian, because I wanted to stand the storms after seeing MB do it, and it just looks so cool to me. So I got something like this. You can go a damage belt if you want, penetration on Flask effect, if you're using spell damage, whatever, right? So that's like the belt there. The gloves are Shadows and Dust, crit multi. The boots are just like getting the elusive tailwind action there. The avian to benefit from this. You don't need a +1 for attack skills. Adding plus level is actually kind of silly for the price. And then I went with 2 unset rings so I could have 2 auras on each ring instead of Call of Brotherhood, which are very expensive, and they can only add 1 aura per ring. Shield, just some reservation so I can reduce the mana cost of 350 percenters. So I put the 50% here. Be careful with the helmet, because if you have a helmet reservation and you put that gem also in a shield that has that, it's gonna be over reserved, right? It'll be still 0, obviously. It doesn't like give you free mana, but it'll be over reserved. So if you have the helmet chant for that thing, mine is Anger, do not put the Anger in a shield that has reservation, right? I put it somewhere else because you will gain back more free mana here. Okay, my amulet, I put vitality on there to save a skill point. Now, in the perfect world, I would actually corrupt for a purity, because if I could corrupt for a purity, I have an open gem. I could put in another aura, but it's hard to get them with the things shown here. So 6% reduce is necessary in my opinion, and then of course getting a percentage ES is better. Now percentage ES is better because if you look at all my jewels, how much percentage ES I have, the reason for that is because when you have a discipline being multiplied like 6 times, 7 times, whatever, what have you, it's gonna be better to get percentage than flat, because the flat is gonna be drowned out by that more multiplier, right? Because like if you have 20 ES and you gain 10 ES, then it's 50% more ES. If you have 200 ES and you get 10 ES, then that is 5% ES, right? You can understand the math there. Other than that, we have Flask Diamond to get closer to crit, because if we're using Multi-Watcher's Eye, the Cinder Swallow, you're always going to ignite them because you're always critting, so that's 10% more damage taken. Bottled Faith is used a lot instead of the Quicksilver when you're bossing, because that's another 10% taken, and also 2% up to 2% base crit, insane. Also this is a really good crit, by the way. Also Dying Sun here, like Dying Sun is like not really that important, but if you're mapping, I could use it. And then we have like if you don't want to use a Dying Sun for the projectiles, well, the projectiles are like good for the barrage, I guess, but if you don't want to use it, you can use a Taste of Hate, I guess. Adzubi's right here, also swappable for a Taste of Hate if you, for whatever reason, you want that extra little bit of defense as well. The damage numbers aren't going to be too different. And then what else didn't I go over? Oh, helmet for 5% reduced mana reserve. You need that. You can also go to the Alpha Sal, I guess. I used that earlier, it was all right. And the wand is physical because the reason, like I've heard from people that the best is penetration, right? I got 9.3 because I'll trade here. I've heard that the best is penetration, and because of that, why am I using like a full fizz attack based wand? And it is because I map, and in mapping, when you steal 25% fizz as extra fire and extra cold, you are going to be doing a lot of damage to those 100% delirious maps, right? So I like the fizz wand there. But you can use any kind of penetration, you can use whatever you want. I was using Moon Sorrow for one day and it was still insane because the build is just is very strong. Okay, and then let me go ahead and trade with this guy here. So Headhunter is used for the maps, right? Like these are swapped in for the maps. For mapping, actually, like you can swap out warding and I would like to get like cannot be frozen on boots, but that's something for later on. And offhands, I'm just leveling gems in here. Okay, let's talk about the more interesting stuff. Now that we talked about that, right? Most builds are going to be running this node right here, 4% reduced and 4% reduced. Okay, if you don't want to take those, you can just drop auras, because Sign is very strong with 4 voices to take the what's it called, the Jardian here, right? You get that 1% fizz damage reduction to you and your allies, but that is multiplied by the Purposeful Harby. Isn't that crazy? Hey, this guy said you're cute, by the way. Thank you, appreciate that. You're gonna get that multiplied, so you're gonna have the 9% there, right? And this one is huge because you get the attack speed just feels, oh shit, I'm like right here, that's pretty slow, but it's gonna get faster if I put on some auras, because you only get a couple percent, but watch this. It's like it's just like huge. Okay, ready? put on the haste as well, and then boom, look how fast that is, right? It's like a laser beam, looks really cool. Once again, you can swap out anything you want, EK, Divine Eye, anything you want in the 6 link, and nothing else really changes because you're just orb-botting yourself, okay? Flame dash to get over distances, or dash if you prefer that. So I was able to drop these 2 nodes here, and while I was mapping, I went with this extra move speed, but this is actually really cool right here. I like that aura effect. Now, 69 mana with this belt on, and then when I put on the head hunter, because I don't have the reduced mana jewel here, I have 27. You're like, how do I cast with that? Because I have 20 mana, right? So what I did is I had to take reduced gems. Where are they? I can't find them. Stuff like that. Like this goes up to like 5%, I think. So reduce mana cost of skills. I have like 3 of these to lower the mana cost to the point where the clarity. Okay, do you see how I'm not auto attacking? An auto attack looks like. Wait, hold on. That's 8. Okay. An auto attack looks like this. If you see yourself shooting this, it means you're out of mana. But with the clarity being level 21 and just being insane, and having this right here, you see this, like I never auto attack because I'm never out of mana, even though I can only cast once. Isn't that crazy? And that is why I want to get my thing up, because there are times when this mana surprisingly will hit like 20 or 22 or whatever, like, and you'll find this as you're building out your character. You're gonna find plenty of instances where like you just can't fit like one extra aura. You're missing this one. You might have to de-level your clarity, you might have to de-level some other stuff, you know. It's weird, and it's really great that I can get this huge mana reservation here, and well, lots of mana reserve, and still be able to permanently cast right here. Okay, isn't that nuts? That's why I really like things with 1% reservation and reduced mana. Once again, it goes up to 5%, so maybe get that. Don't worry about damage on these jewels, okay? They will be infinitely expensive if you want like a couple more damage mods, right? Get things like this that don't matter, right? Like reduced mana, get the ES, doesn't have to be 8, it can be 6, 7, what have you. And then like the charges doesn't really matter. I mean, look at, okay, that's just a pure temple. Like this is like 1 damage mod. That energy shield is so little. When you're like bossing, it doesn't even matter. And so yeah, like see this one. This one's great, right? Like it's the energy shield. It's the reduced mana cost, so you can get your power siphons off. Because every time you don't actually get your power siphon off, maybe that was gonna be the coal. Maybe that was gonna be the chain that like, you know, cleared more for you, right? So you need to be in all instances, maps and bosses, where you can spam this without ever auto tagging. I can't stress how important that is. Leech is fine because if you run cannot regen maps or like lesser regen maps, the gloves have a little bit of leech on them, and you have physical damage. And once you're stealing buffs in maps and stuff, you also have more leech, right? Because you're doing more damage to fizz if anything gets like a little bit weird. So so that's there, and the biggest things about this tree is being able to drop this this node and this one. You might not think it's very good, but look at this. It took level 100 to get the 4 voices, because before that it's super hard to get this. You have to drop like everything, right? Before you can get this, you can take this jewel socket here, and I was actually using like insightfulness and stuff like that, and that was really cool. Now also this is huge damage because that's like damage, but it's also 5% pen from the pure talent. And I'd say in like the way that I thought about upgrading the things was like I was farming a lot of berries. I was making money there. I was doing a lot of carries. Like today we made like I think 85, 90 exalts from just doing Cyrus carries like back to back, because it's so fast at doing Cyrus carries. I would say the CI does feel better than the low life for the cool aspect of being immune to child's damage and being able to tank the storms a lot easier with a lot less regen. But if you're doing spells, you know, you go Zealotry, you go low life, pain attunement, that is also fine as well. But I really like the CI nature of this. I think it's great. And I would say you don't need the 1 node voices, but getting the 1 node voices here to make this tree like perfect for me, because this is what the tree is pretty much going to look like. This 1 point right here can be put anywhere else. You don't have to put it here. I just put it there for effect across all the auras. But this is it's just amazing to me. There's no points where I'm like, man, I could take that out and do something else. I really can't, besides this 1 point. And I needed level 90. I needed level 100 to be able to do that. I guess level 99 with this one, but to be able to fit in these things, because there's just so many points in these cluster jewels. It's ridiculous. See how stretched it is, and how nothing is like specific really to like a spell or attack, and so you can literally put in any skill. That's so cool. Overall, the build is good. Self-curse temp chains mappers are still better. I have a cycloner that's better than this build at mapping. This build though has very good convenience across every part of the game, right? You want a boss You want a map, you want to do 100% delirium, you want to do deep delve boss kills, you want to do all kinds of holo grandmasters, you want to do anything you want, carry anybody you want through anything. It is like the build, and it's gone next league, and that's why you should play it, I guess, right? So here's the tree again. Anything else cool to talk on? I guess like the little nodes, like you see these things right here, where this one doesn't have a fourth node. If you can, you want it. That's when you get a fourth node. 2% attack speed, cast speed is really good. I personally like regen, like the regen tier 1 on the fourth node is pretty good. Stats, because every 5% you get is another percentage of ES. It's all pretty cool, and I'm having a blast with it. Now, it's funny because there's still like a couple mirrors that I can invest into this build. I'm going to be switching back to the Jardian because I want to get him to 100. He's level 98 right now. And so I'd like basically respect these and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, well, this one's already spec'd. So that's what I would do. And for the most part, yeah, for the most part, that's that is it. Oh, MTX things. Okay, so when you have heralds on the rings, you can't skin them. Also a pay to lose feature. I had to buy $95 of invisible buff effects. I had to buy $95 because they're $5 each to hide the things, and I gained huge performance. Like hiding all the auras with invisible gave me FPS. I'm not kidding. It's so dumb. And yeah, I'm pretty sure if I hit all these MTX with invisible dots, which I also have, but those are reusable as well, those would make for less lag too. So it's kind of pay to lose. I'm not very happy about that, but it is what it is. And I do like the MTX because look at my character. It looks pretty cool, huh? Other than this, go for the ES. The ES is pretty cool. ES is more ES means more regen, so you can drop replenishing. The end goal I would say for this is to get 4 node 1% reduction cluster jewels. It would be to get your 1 node voices, because look how stretched this tree is. You can't do this without some 1 node voices. It's very hard to go silent. Jardian is better pretty much in all instances, unless you want a min-max where you can play this game as your job all day long. The Jardian will just be better for you. I'll go the Jardian and go with 3. Go with 3 voices. These 3 pretty much right here. And the tree will be pretty much the same here. Upgrade priority. Okay. Upgrade priority, because I always get asked about upgrade priorities. Do I get this or this first? You need the Purposeful Harby jewels, okay? The 1% mana reservation, because it's once again, it's okay to drop a couple 50% nodes, drop some 35, some 25, some 10% auras to fit it all in. For those, get the cheapest ones first. Don't do it on replenishing presence, because that's like 160 exalts right now. Don't do it on the Purposeful Harbinger, Heraldry, or Purposeful Harbinger Endbringer. Those are like 70 plus exalts right now. Maybe they're like 80, 90 now. I don't even know. Do it on gems like Intuitive. On this, these are like 30 exalts when I bought them. And you should be having a good time. It's a very slow burn. Like you'll be like, okay, boom, huge upgrade. You'll feel it right away. Adding the fourth 3 and the 3 what's it called, Purposeful Harbingers, was like night and day. It just became ridiculous, and every little upgrade you will feel it so much, I promise you. And that's one of the best things. Another one of the best things about this build is that upgrades actually are felt in a map, on a boss, wherever you are. And that's kind of special. So I'm gonna link the POV below the video, because I don't want to spend too long talking about this stuff. I already got into things that are like kind of elementary for anyone who can afford this build. And yeah, that's about it. I just want to give a quick overview on this, on the sign version and what's going on there. Whale haste is amazing, by the way. That does get multiplied by your Purposeful Harbingers. And yeah, definitely recommend Male Violence though for the skill if you're gonna use Whale Haste. Okay, I actually dropped my Whale Power Siphon and my my other thing, Whale Discipline, because I wanted the souls to fill up on this faster when you enter a map. And yeah, it's been a lot of this build is cool. Sad it's gone next week, but we'll have some fun with it for the next month and a half. All right, thanks for watching my video, guys. If you guys have any questions on this overview and stuff, you can ask me on twitch.tv/qdog_. All right, thank you guys for listening to my thoughts on it. Okay, bye guys, bye.